From the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing, this is World of Wonder's Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Wow Report, which Blake tells me is our 455th. So, wow. I mean, and week after week, we bring you 10 fresh new topics, counting down the top 10 things of the week that make us go,
wow. Wow.
That is James St. James and Blake Jacobs.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.
Today is the day.
He's 13.
My birthday, yes, August 1st. And for those of you who are watching, I have a floating lion's head behind me, ballooned because I'm a Leo.
Oh, was that a gift from an admirer?
No, I actually stole it from the desk at World of Wonder because someone had dropped it off, but they didn't know who to give it to. So I just took it.
Someone dropped it off?
Someone dropped off some flowers in the balloon.
I just had a birthday, bitch.
No, it's not you. I swear it's not you.
You've made it to 150. It's incredible. It feels so good. And of course, Blake standing in this week also for Tom Campbell, who's out on Slaycation.
He's slaying it. Yeah.
All right. So where shall we start? Let's Blake, take it away. Number 10.
Number 10.
Have you guys seen the new episode, the new season of South Park?
I'm speechless just thinking about it. Yes, it's
exactly.
Unbelievable. Yes.
The good thing about South Park is, and they've done this in previous seasons and stuff, they can change stuff right up until the premiere date. So they were able to do the skewering of Donald Trump about this big merger on some network who shall remain nameless.
And all the Stephen Colbert thing they were able to get in there. They within 48 hours of air date, they are able to change everything about the episode, and it just makes it so fresh. South Park, ebbs and flows, and some seasons are better than others, and everything like that. It seems like they're coming in like gangbusters this season, and they are after Donald Trump. The jokes that they made, I don't know how they're still alive. I would think that Donald would have had an army of, he would have had Hegseth deploy every person on the Department of, Defense come and assassinate them. It's just crazy.
Well,
it may be that he's just not that competent. And that's why, but also it is a masterpiece of timing for the history books, because as you know, the merger between Paramount and Skydance was up for approval, and they were also, Matt and Trey were negotiating a new deal for South Park. So to be able to do that and keep these plates spinning in the air and write a whole new episode that is like literally fresh that day
and get paid $1.5 billion.
It's a shed load of money, right? Yeah.
The very end of the episode, it goes to the town has to do advertisements for
pro-Trump.
Yeah, pro-Trump. And so they have this naked Donald Trump, looked exactly like him, this fat, naked man wandering through the desert, shedding his clothes, and it's Donald Trump, and then he collapses, and we see his little ding-dong pop up with googly eyes, and it is just one of the most shocking things you've ever seen on television ever. Literally, what was your reaction, Fenton, when you saw it?
I was shocked. I was imagining the executive offices at Paramount, like, what were they talking about? Because, and I do believe it was debated, or mass debated, I should say, about what they were going to do about it. But it is so ballsy. I can't stop making awful puns. I'm sorry.
I read that they were talking about blurring it, but then they were like, absolutely not. You have to keep it in. I also think it wouldn't have happened if it was South Park 10 years ago when we didn't have Paramount Plus on streaming, know. The next episode is dropping August 6th. They're taking a week off.
Okay.
But this storyline continues. They've dropped a trailer for it. Trump and Satan are still dating at a black tie event. You'll just have to watch the.
That episode is filled with Easter eggs, is it not? There are lots of like as callbacks to when Satan was
dating Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, and then as he's walking through the corridor, and there's the images of him fucking the sheep, and all
the details are so like even Caroline Levitt wearing the same outfit. Did you see that side by side?
It got Caroline Levitt so well. And you have to believe, too, that the reason they went balls to the wall, no pun intended, was that you've got to go big with Trump. It's either go big or go home, and they went big,
And they're starting season 27, and the fact that the administration is like, this show hasn't been popular in 20 years. It's just showing it's tired, old. Yeah. It's just the exact same blah,
it does
blah, blah.
present an interesting dilemma, I would have thought, for Paramount, because although they said the Colbert decision was purely economic, and it might have been, they can't exactly crater to any kind of pressure now to cancel South Park, number one. And number two, I was sort of amazed that, the very next day, the FCC approved the merger. So it's interesting. I just think, like, what a great...
Well, you mean that anytime now, if anything gets canceled, it's going to be showing their hand that it was political as opposed to...
Whether it is or it isn't, people will accuse them of being political. I think they're in a very... I actually think, in all truth, they've been in an impossible situation for some time, because in doing the paying Trump over the 60 Minutes thing, it was a clear, they had to do something to... Or the merger wouldn't go through. And if the merger didn't go through, that would be the end of Paramount. So it was sort of like, talk about being boxed in. I think I can't imagine how stressful, actually, and complex and nightmarish it must have been. But finally, billionaires that we like, right?
What?
The South Park billionaires.
The South Park billionaires. Okay. All right, gonna move on. Number 9.
Number 9.
I went to go see Eddington at the theater over the weekend, and I'm glad Tom isn't here because it's too stressful for Tom's delicate ears to even think about these subjects. Fenton, I know you saw it, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. Quickly, it stars Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, and Austin Butler. It's a fantastic cast. Picture it. It's a small town in New Mexico. The date is late May 2020, and all that entails right there. If you go back in time, Joaquin Phoenix is a sheriff, and he is a COVID denier. Well, sort of a COVID denier. He's anti-mask, and he's just a dick about it. He will not wear the mask no matter what. And he keeps saying things like, at this point in May of 2020, there was only 2 or 3 cases in America. And he's like, it's not in our town. Why do we have to follow their mandates and their rules if it's not here? I don't have to I'm not going to wear a mask. And so while people are social distancing and wearing masks to get into grocery stores and stuff, he refuses to. He goes into the grocery store without a mask. And he's like, what are you going to do? Arrest me? And at the same time, they also start to hear about the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis. And very soon, the young people in this small town in New Mexico start protesting in the streets. And that starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger as Black Lives Matter starts to join the fray. And very soon, there's looting in the streets, and stores are being broken in broken windows and everything. And he gets more and more unhinged, Joaquin Phoenix. And it starts to become a little bit like Michael Douglas in Falling Down. He is completely out of control, and he decides to frame one of his policemen, a black policeman, and for a crime that he commits, and blame it on Black Lives Matter. And that causes another avalanche to come down on the town and on his ass. And the last half hour, I'm not going to tell you anything, but it gets completely off the walls. It's just completely bonkers, completely unhinged. It's out of control. Now, the thing is, I had 2 takeaways from this. The first is that we as a nation never really dealt with what happened in 2020. We never got through the whole trauma of the pandemic and being under lockdown and all of that. We've never dealt with it as a country. And so to revisit this gives you PTSD. The minute everything starts happening, you are just like, I don't know if I can go back there again. I don't know that I can do it. I don't know that I personally have the strength to do this. Fenton?
I went with Billy, and he literally was writhing in his seat with, I just said, viscerally, intensely uncomfortable.
Visceral, yes.
Blake? I had to stay home because I had COVID.
Well, and you deny it, and you won't wear a mask, so you are the target audience.
I have worn a mask. I have been in the bed for a week. Today's my first day back.
Oh my gosh, welcome back.
Look, my second takeaway though is, and this is fascinating because Joaquin Phoenix is unlikable a character as you can get. He's everything he does is wrong and screwed up, and he does it for the wrong reasons, and he's just a rotten person. But on X, on social media, I keep seeing MAGA types saying, finally, a hero for our time. Yeah. Finally, someone that we can relate to. And they are making him into the hero. And he's not supposed to be the hero. He's supposed to be, you're what not to do. And for the fact that a movie like this, you can it makes you just wonder about the split in the country where the villains is so clearly a villain, and yet the MAGA people see him as the hero, and that's just the problem with the country all over the place.
And you know that they see it, and they're just doing it to double down and own the list.
Well, but do they? Because
we've always thought that. Yeah, maybe they really are.
But like I said, when the sheriff gets COVID and still refuses to mask and is still like sort of denying that COVID exists, even as he's coughing and wheezing and ready to collapse on the ground, he still will not bend to any of the rules or anything like that. And that right there is MAGA in a nutshell as well. Fenton, what other thoughts do you have?
Well, the movie is kind of unpredictable all the way through. I actually had no idea that was Joaquin Phoenix. I was like, who is that actor? He's quite good. Because I've always kind of loathed Joaquin Phoenix and anything he's ever done. And this was the first time I thought, oh, this person's really good. And obviously it's the year of Pedro Pascal. You can't turn without Pedro Pascal popping up in something. He's in The Materialist. He's in
Fantastic Four.
Yes. I mean,
and every summer, Austin Butler pops up and just looks.
Yes. I mean, I thought rather unnecessarily, to be honest. And Emma Stone too. But I do love that because he has Joaquin Phoenix, the sheriff, has a girlfriend who's sort of like, it's a barren relationship, and she's a conspiracy theorist, right? And the mother is also a nutcase who's staying with them. I mean, I got the impression it was very falling down of like this person just under so much pressure that eventually they crack. And then the last hour, it does to me slightly go off the rails.
Ooh.
And
it's like the substance. It's like the substance. We're just
like the substance,
what is going on?
Like The Brutalist. I think long movies tip over into insanity around the 2-hour 30 mark.
There was another movie you were talking about recently that's like that. It's like the year of the movies that go crazy.
Yes.
And
it's so
also
bizarre.
the fact that there isn't a conspiracy theory out there that this movie doesn't latch onto. 5G with the company out in the desert. There's ivermectin pops up. It's not. I mean, like.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes.
Everything.
And we do get to see Pedro Pascal completely naked in a very surprising way.
In
a fantastic scene.
No, Joaquin is the one that's naked.
You are right about that.
Yeah, we see his ding dong.
Oh my goodness me! I thought you're right. I've been misattributing the penis. It's been like, oh, yeah. Well, that's great anyway. It's kind of
it's a nice ding dong. It's a lovely.
It's fine ding. As ding dongs go, it's fine. Yeah. But it's a very surprising moment, isn't it? It's not your usual full frontal nudity moment. I mean,
well, it's funny because it has three. It could have ended at 3 different points,
and maybe it could have ended one of them earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's been getting quite. I understand it's got a lot of buzz, but not very lot of positive buzz, right?
But do you think that Joaquin has an Oscar nomination?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think people are probably quite cross with him for pulling out of that other movie he was going to do.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
Because that's not, you don't do that, do you? You don't sabotage a movie days for its supposed to film. Because All right, well, let's go on. Number 8.
Number 8.
Do you know about Sister Hong?
Well, because you have bombarded me relentlessly, I know now. Yes.
Sister Hong, aka Uncle Red. Picture it. Okay. A bleak apartment, a tiny bedsit, single bed apartment. Could be day, could be night. There's no natural light. It's one of those apartments, sort of a lino floor. It's grim and it's bleak. And then a guy enters. And they are an ordinary looking Chinese guy. They may have a little food delivery bag or a watermelon or some.
Where does this take place? Where is this?
In China. In China. Okay. They enter, and then following behind them is a dumpy kind of shape, a dumpy woman in a long dress, a very unfashionable long dress, thick makeup, terrible wig, and a face mask. Speaking of COVID, face mask. And then what follows, they put down their gift on the little side table, and then they get to it. And this has blown up. She would service people, bring them back to her tiny, tiny apartment, service them, not charge them any money. They only had to bring a little gift, a little thing. And oh my goodness. I mean,
I think you're bearing the lead because she's not a she. She's like,
well, no, exactly. That's the thing. You realize quite quickly, I'd say within about 3 frames of seeing her appear on camera, that her outfit is a disguise. Not just the face mask, but the wig that's covering most of her face, and the thick makeup. And you're like, that is no lady. And it turns out that it isn't. Now, what's been going on is that he has been secretly filming these people and taking the videos of her servicing them orally and anally and posting it on pay websites and monetizing user-generated content, I guess. No, monetizing, the interaction. So that's how she made money. And I think everything was going well until friends of friends saw, like, you're in this video, and people recognize themselves, or wives recognize their husbands. Because I would say, by and large, most of these men are straight acting, certainly, and straight seeming. And even though Sister Hong is clearly no sister, because at first you're like, how can there be a mistake? And then I've watched a few of these videos. I haven't watched them all. They're fascinating. They're like documentaries. That's why I'm watching them. Like, there's times when they get Sister Hong to pull out her schlong, and they'll go down on her. So,
well, but that's just, that is the way of sexual
way of the world, right? It's the way of the world.
Well, once a man is aroused, anything goes. Like once you're up and running, you don't say no to anything. That's just the world.
Have either of you seen any of these videos?
I thought you were going to say, have either of you been with Sister with Uncle Red?
Joe's just got back from China.
For his birthday.
You haven't seen any of the videos?
I have. Yes, you send them to me at 3:00 in the morning. I wake up and I'm like, what now?
It's so great, Blake, because it's a single camera. It's a locked off shot. There is no production value, but there's something real, and raw is the wrong word. Something actually at times almost touching about the interaction.
So it is sort of sweet, the fact that that you do realize that it's not the beautiful OnlyFans girls, that this is real life, and that this is there's something about touching about the way they treat each other.
There is. I mean, it is just. I mean, and I guess it's a little unfair of Sister Hong to videotape them and then monetize them on the internet. I don't quite know what he was thinking, but The police arrested him. He's a 38-year-old man. Contrary to rumor, he hasn't slept with 1,600. They don't say how many it is, but it's not 1,600. But it's just really a fascinating thing. And I don't know. It's a real sort of. I kind of want to know more about. Sister Harper.
I would like to sit Sister down for a
yes
on-camera interview and really just sort of get to the bottom of what he thinks, what his intentions.
It's gone very viral. It's everywhere. Yeah. Is this the right moment to say that the trailer for Slasian Royale dropped and is going gangbusters? Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Launches August 13th on Wow Presents Plus, of course, worldwide, and we'll have not one but two after shows: Fashion Photo Review with Roger and Raven, and Binge Queens, starring Joella, Angina, Dee, Melinda. It's going to be fantastic. All of that on Wow Presents Plus.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Blake, do you have a question?
No, I don't have a question, but I do have a little rest and perfection. A distant cousin of mine who was also Miss Gay Arkansas 2018, Chloe Jacobs, passed away this weekend from complications due to lupus. And she was a good friend of House of Avalon, who knew her closer than I did because growing up, she's a few years younger than me. She was only 35.
Wow.
And yeah, so rest in perfection, Chloe Jacobs. We love you and we miss you. So rest in perfection, Chloe Jacobs. And we'll be right back after the break.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm Fenton here with James and Blake. Tom is out on vacation. And oh my gosh, so many people passed. Like it was like a run. Ozzy Osbourne,
Hogan, Chuck Mangione. Who else? There was a couple others.
Malcolm Jamal Warner. And Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and that's very sad because he, for a generation of young men, he was such an inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
As was, Ozzy.
Yeah. We are counting down top 10 things of the week that made us go wow. We've reached number 7.
Number 7.
I'm so excited to talk about Fantastic Four because I love to irritate James.
I was going to say, I know this is about triggering me. I know you're about to just make you talk. I'm talking about falling down. Talk about going Michael Douglas.
The MC universe, the Marvel comic universe is back, baby. But actually, James, I'm going to call it Fantastic Flaw. I thought in some ways it was a little bit similar to Superman in that the Fantastic Four, I think it's called First Steps, is about the family of superheroes, but it's retro-futurism. It's sort of set in I guess you could say a parallel universe, but it's in the sort of basically in the 50s and 60s, in that sort of period of naive optimism, post-war prosperity, similar in a way to Superman sort of background and the sort of the ethos of Superman of sort of fundamentally good, not complicated people, and the sort of fundamental idea that superheroes will save us. It's sort of
it's not the grim
no
Christopher Nolan
that some of Marvel seeks
none of that. It's a rewind in a sense, and I think in a way it's like a retreat to this simpler time. And to me, it feels a bit like avoiding the issue because I just think we're in such a dark moment.
But isn't that the whole point of what people were saying about Superman, is that we are in such darkness that to see someone who is good and full of light and air and happiness and joy is something that we need right now as a nation?
Arguably, but I think it's untenable, and I think it's naive, and I think it's sort of escapist in a responsible way. So I am trying, James, to take your side and hold Marvel to account in the same way, but I'm using DC to, I'm saying they're both. I just think that they should both read the room, and I think both films are kind of tone deaf.
Now, is this a reset? Isn't this like the first
It's some kind of reset, but I
of
mean,
the
yeah.
MCU or something?
Well,
Yeah,
it's the first reset of the DCU for sure. This is
Superman is. Yeah.
this is
okay. Maybe I'm getting
we're
that
leaving
confused.
we're getting away from the gloom and doom of Zack Snyder, and we're entering the James Gunn phase.
Right.
There's some other tropes that I'm a little bit tired of. I'm tired of the superhero trope. I just think it's like not an idea that is flattering when America is such a shit show in the eyes of the world. The idea of like there's some sort of savior thing going on is just awful and offensive. Number one. Number two, the banter. I just cannot stand superhero action hero banter. It's like every banter line has been tried and changed, and it's like, but it's just, oh, here we are, this is a banter scene with, you know, sort of slightly sort of snarky, slightly knowing, slightly self-referential, but all fundamentally vapid and vacant and not really about any real relationship at all between these characters.
Okay.
Number two, I am sick of the fucking mega villains, and in this one it's Galactus. And basically, Galactus is a giant anus. He just goes around eating planets, and he's just this sort of airborne black hole. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not anti-anal, God forbid, but I'm like, why do we have to always have it's always the evil anus on the loose? You know, whether it's the sandworms in Dune or I don't know.
With the giant kaijus in Superman, that like you could have taken them all out and still had the same story. I mean, like, you know,
and the Jason Schwartzman person in that Spider-Man one.
Yeah, it's I agree. These giant, and the fact that they're always a half hour too long because it always is nothing but just this giant anus that they all have to deal with, and
they all have to defeat. I mean, I was thinking even Thanos is basically anus, but without that. And then the last thing, and then I'll just leave it alone, is the idea of this annoying gay bot that there has to be a cutesy little robot character like
Groot.
Yes, well, Groot. I actually love Groot because Groot's a little tree, but like him in the Megan sequel, there's an annoying sort of little bot thing, and
there are the gay robots in Superman too. Sure.
Yes, I just like, and it, you know, I thought it was great in Star Wars with C-3PO and R2-D2, but like,
is that interesting here? Is everybody trying to have their own C-3PO and R2-D2?
They're all trying to have a bot, you know, and I just. You know, then the last thing, I'm sorry, there's just actually two more. One more thing is the plot. It all revolves around this baby that is sort of the Messiah because it's a superpower hero.
Jesus.
Which I'm like, again, I'm thinking like, oh, it's a bit of an icky idea. But then Galactus, the giant anus, wants to eat it and is like, bring me the baby, I need to feed. And that to me evokes
Oprah thing. Yeah, that's that Oprah
Pizzagate.
And Adrenochrome.
Yes, Pizzagate. And so between the Messiah piece and the MAGA thing, I just found the whole thing icky. Although I will say the best part of the film for me was at the very end when they're about to be feted on a TV show and they get an alert and they have to run out and they're trying to put the baby seat in the car and they can't install the baby seat, you know, because baby seats are very difficult to install in cars, and the Fantastic Four are flummoxed by how to install the baby seat in their car.
Har.
And it's also all about the popcorn buckets. I've gone on too long, but it's there's a giant popcorn bucket that is like literally bigger than Elliot. That is Galactus, and then there's one it's like, you know,
a black anal hole.
Exactly. It was cute with Dune, but now like the bucket there isn't room in the theater for everybody's popcorn buckets. It's like
Number 6.
After 10 years, I have finally seen Hamilton. I can't believe it. Not at the theater, unfortunately, sadly, but when this was the original cast got back together again in 2020 and filmed the stage version, and it went straight to Disney Plus
during COVID. Yeah, I
during
remember
COVID.
that.
Yes, and I did not have Disney Plus. I was not going to pay for Disney Plus, but since Disney Plus and Hulu have merged, now it's on Hulu. Finally, after 5 years, it's on Hulu. So I watched it. I loved it. I know that, I mean, there's what else can you say that hasn't been said before? But I'll tell you, by God, that Manuel Miranda is just, he's so charismatic. That David Diggs and Anthony Ramos are just easy on the eyes. Jonathan Groff as King George is just hysterical.
Yes.
The Taylor sisters, I just loved every second of them. You know, the songs, My Shot, The Room Where It Happens, You'll Be Back, all of them are just so amazing. I wish I could have seen this with my mother. My mother and I, that was our thing. We always went to go see musicals together. She would have just loved it. And that makes me a little sad. But the interesting thing to me too is I kept thinking about how, you know, Benedict Arnold is sort of you'll kind of like him a little bit. He's sort of a sympathetic character in this, in the way that Salieri was in Amadeus, and that you know, Gatsby. It reminds me a little bit of Gatsby, where it's someone who is looking at someone else who is getting all the success. It's the same thing as Amadeus and Great Gatsby. To me, it's the same story, and you sort of walk away from it thinking, well, I see both sides, and it's absolutely fascinating. And if you get a chance just to watch it on Hulu, it's worth it.
Or Disney Plus.
Or Disney Plus. Blake, you are exempted because you're going to come back and you're going to say, I hated it, because you hate all musicals.
Oh, no, I won't see it.
Good.
Well, there you go. Number 5. Oh my God, me again. I feel talking too much.
Number 5.
Not my type. Bestseller from E. Jean Carroll, the woman who sued Trump and won. Right. The book is subtitled One Woman versus a President, and it is a really great read. I'm shocked that she's 81.
That's great.
So alive and so spry and just vicious, but not in a mean, low way, just brilliant and witty and dazzling and sizzling. And she had a huge career as a columnist. She wrote a Hunter S. Thompson biography, and that actually, the prose there's an intensity of the detail. Everything is in focus. Every detail is present. You know, it's very Hunter S. Thompson-y in some
well,
respect.
You know, she was, there's a reason why she was the #1 columnist in the world for, 20 years or whatever, when she was at, what was it, Cosmo or Ladies Home Journal?
Elle,
yeah. And so she knows her way around, a typewriter.
She sure does. I mean, she can tell a story. She took Fran Lebowitz camping for Outside magazine. I think that was one of her first breaks. But on page 253, she says, "This is your town, Donald Trump, and I just beat the shit out of you." I mean, and the detail. One chapter is called The Dressing Room, where she is retelling the court case, but also blow by blow her testimony and describing the prosecution and the defense, the defense, I should say, especially. And it all comes down to like, well, why didn't she scream? And they really try to sort of discredit her on the basis that when Trump pushed her against the wall in the dressing room, she didn't scream. And then the fact that she held onto her handbag the whole time while he managed to pull down the tapes. Again, an attempt to discredit her. And then after like 3 minutes of the struggle, I mean, it is a brilliant recounting, because you've got the courtroom testimony, which is one thing, but her interjections and the color she adds is another. And she's recanting. She is serving Kant in a major way. This is a vengeance piece of considerable brilliance. But at one point, she explains how Trump has pinned her against the wall, and he's like 100 pounds heavier than she is. And her tights have been pulled down. I'm sorry if it's graphic, but she's struggling. She's holding onto her handbag. And she explains that she manages to get her knee up and jab at him with her knee. And the defense is like incredulous. Well, how did you do this without letting go of your handbag? And she says, you know, when you think about things afterwards, I mean, her testimony is brilliant. She is so brilliant on the stand. But she does say in this instance, she said, you know, when you think about things afterwards, she said, I thought of the perfect answer, which was, she said, have you ever tried to give a pill to a cat? Meaning that she's 100 pounds bigger than a cat, but you can't get a pill down a cat, you know, and it's a perfect, there's just so many little episodes and insights and things.
There's so often in sexual abuse and sexual things like that, where why didn't you scream? Well, you don't scream, you know, that you're in shock, you're in horror, don't, your mind isn't working in a logical way, and that's why you're grabbing onto the handbag, because you're grabbing onto something familiar.
Absolutely. She really goes into it in forensic detail. She really does. She's like, I was trying to process what was happening. It was they were having banter and fun and, you know, not flirty sexually, but just the flirty, you know, she's savvy. She's a sassy person. And he said, you're that advice woman. And she said, oh, well, you're that real estate agent. You know, they were like, and suddenly she's like, shut up.
Sure.
Yeah. And then she wonders, she's in the middle of a testimony and she's like, oh my God. And she suddenly wonders if the defense for Trump are actually trying to throw the case, because their defense is so hapless, so inept, so bonkers. She suddenly thinks, and at the end, the defense guy comes up to her and congratulates her and shakes her hand, says congratulations to her. You know, he's just lost to her. And she looks him in the eye and says, he did it and you knew it. I tell you, I would want to watch this. It would be so good. And then, of course, that was just the first trial, because after the first trial, everyone's happy, relieved. She's won, I think, $1 million or something, goes home, goes to bed. Trump kicks off and insults her all over again, defames her all over again, libels her all over. So she says, and after I wake up, I sue him again. And then she, next time, won $100 million.
God forbid Ryan Murphy gets a hold of it, but it does deserve.
It's an amazing story. It's an amazing, amazing story. I recommend the audiobook, actually, because she reads it too. So, let's take a break, right? Why don't you take us to break, James?
Me? I've never been given this honor before.
Just say that's enough of that. Let's go to break.
That's enough of that. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue on our countdown.
That was beautiful.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm Fenton here with James and Blake. Tom, our fearless leader, is out on vacation. All right, we're counting down top 10. We've reached number 4.
Number 4.
There were just a few little fashion moments that happened in the past week that I wanted to talk about. The first is that this issue of Vogue features some AI models, which is one of those things like it's coming. And there we've been told that there are certain things that AI is just never going to take away. And that's going to be, you know, music, and it's going to be singing, and it's going to be acting, and it's going to be art, and it's going to be literature. Well, we've come to find out that AI came for all of them. And, you know, all of those things are now AI. And well, modeling, there are always going to be real people model. Well, no, they really aren't, because they create, as we see on Instagram every day, they create more of these fashion moments, these AI fashion moments with these AI models. And it wasn't in the editorial, but it was in some of the ads. And it just makes you think that, you know,
well, I saw that Guess and Marciano are using.
Yeah.
And he defended it.
It is. And it's one of those things where my first thought was, well, they're coming for, you know, what is the next thing that people say they can't replicate? Well, it's OnlyFans, where it's going to be nothing but AI OnlyFans, and OnlyFans are going to be put out of business next. So
I did see that Farrah Abraham, who used to be on Teen Mom, sold her likeness, her AI likeness. So like porn companies could do. She doesn't have to. It's something weird like that.
Oh, that's interesting. The other fashion moment that I've noticed is there are all these paparazzi shots of behind the scenes of The Devil Wears Prada Part 2. Ugh. I'll tell you something, because Pat Fields is not doing the costumes on it, and it shows. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, they're so chic. Everybody looks so fabulous." And to me, Meryl Streep looks like she went to Zara sales rack on her lunch break. Sometimes she looks like Queen Elizabeth. She just is wearing the frumpiest damn outfits. And Emily Blunt looks like she got something from the mall. Like something from H&M. It's just rotten.
I may be the only gay in the world, but I do not care about the Devil Wears Product 1 or 2.
Well, the first one was a moment. It was definitely
The Devil Wears Products.
The Devil Wears Products, yes. But the first one was something, and Meryl Streep was brilliant in it, and Pat Fields.
Yeah.
We love Pat.
Pat Fields, yeah.
All right. Huh.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Blake, trim that up. Take it.
What did you just say?
The gap, my dead-eyed moment. That's what it
Oh my god! Can you just cut that in half? Stop it!
Will do.
Hammering.
All right, number 3. Oh gosh.
Number 3.
I have an end of the world alert.
Oh, great.
There is an object heading our way. It's called 3I Atlas, and it's been identified by a Harvard astronomer as most likely to be an alien vehicle with hostile intent.
Oh, fun.
Mm-hmm. It came from the center of the galaxy, which is the brightest spot. And they think that maybe that was deliberate because the brightness obscured
its arrival. Yes. It's impending, yes.
And apparently it's accelerating, and it isn't leaving a gassy trail, So
as opposed to Blake, leaves a gassy trail wherever he goes.
How dare you?
And the other thing, the most telling thing, is its orbit is very weird, and it's entering our solar system. And they're using Venus and Mars and Jupiter, one after the other, to slingshot off of their gravitational pull to accelerate it even further. Apparently,
it sounds like it's a sentient being who knows what it's doing.
The odds of that trajectory being real is 0.0005%. So, so here it comes. And the saving grace is that it gets close to the sun, and at that point I think it's like 160 million miles away, and everyone's like, oh well, then it's fine, it's going to go on its way. But what they're saying is that at that point the spacecraft will be obscured by the sun, some kind of eclipse or something, and while it's obscured by the sun, it's going to change course and is expected here on Earth sometime between November and December, between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, I hope they're Democrats.
To
help us vote.
Well, that is fascinating, and I, for one, welcome our alien overlords. Please take me away.
Apparently, it's the third interstellar visitor that's ever been recorded. Remember there's sort of the big poo-shaped thing that Obama.
Yes.
And there was one other, but
it's funny. The rest of the world called it cigar-shaped, but Fenton goes.
And so that's Avi Loeb, the Harvard astrophysicist, is saying it is, and then some guy at Oxford has said that he's just saying it's bonkers. So who knows? We'll watch this space, right?
Yeah.
Let's do number 2.
Number 2.
Fenton, this one is for you. It's a cautionary tale. I saw online, I saw on X, and I want to read the whole thing to you because it's sort of fascinating. A woman named Cody Sanchez wrote, I have a friend who used to work for 2 billionaires, and after all he's seen, he said to me, I wish you not one penny over 299 million, because reality gets completely lost somewhere after that. And then a number of people were commenting, and someone wrote a very long piece that I'm going to read right now. And it says, this is one of the most important truths that nobody really talks about. There's a threshold of wealth beyond which you stop interacting with reality as it exists, and you begin interacting with a version that bends to your whims. Cody's friend didn't pick 299 million arbitrarily. That's the point where wealth begins to replicate itself without labor, without resistance, and without external accountability. The world becomes a simulation crafted by assistants, lawyers, media buffers, private access, and power brokers who insulate you from friction, consequence, or contradiction. Under 100 million, you still feel gravity. Above 300 million, you start controlling gravity. And that's the danger. At that level, people stop saying no to you. You stop encountering randomness. And everything is for sale, including trust, intimacy, and morality. That's where reality fracturing begins. Not because money corrupts, but because perception loses resistance. Resistance is what keeps you real. So the deeper truth is this. Once your environment is made entirely of yes men, predictive services, curated insulation, your mind begins to exit the shared human operating system. You aren't evil, you're decontextualized. You're drifting in an abstraction loop of your own design. That's when you start thinking ideas like, let's colonize Mars, or let's block out the sun, start to make sense to you. Cody's billionaire friend wasn't being poetic. He was confessing a structural truth. There's a point at which money doesn't distort reality, it erases it.
That is so powerful.
Wow.
That is
really
amazing.
good.
It's a real, I got chills as I was reading it.
I got chills hearing it. Why is it 209? Like, why that number though?
Well, that is, I think it is sort of arbitrary, but that she just said that after 300 million is when all of this.
What year was this?
Oh, it's now, but you know, it sort of ties into the fact that we now know that by 2028 that Elon Musk will be a trillionaire, and the idea of, you know, it's funny because I just started reading The Haves and the Have Yachts, which was that book that you read.
Yes, great title.
It's such a great title. The book itself gets a little like, I don't care about yachts that much, but it is
it really about yachts?
It really is about yachts, about giga yachts is what it is. You know, there's super yachts and then
mega yachts,
mega yachts and giga yachts. But the idea of just how this world that we live in, you know, 20 years ago, there were just a handful of billionaires, and now they seem to be ubiquitous, and that they are living in a world that we are not living in.
Such a great thing, that the idea that resistance is what keeps us sane, you know.
Yeah. And like, that you don't have resistance anymore at that level, and also the you don't encounter randomness, which I'm still.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah,
it's actually the randomness of things is always the most interesting thing about life. Actually,
yeah. I'm going to forward you that.
Please, yeah. No, who's the person who wrote it? Did they get a name check?
It's just someone named underscore the prophet underscore the prophet underscore Sightbringer is the name on
wow.
X.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Would Elon Musk be the first trillionaire then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's take one more break. And when we come back, the number one thing this week that made us go, wow.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report. Fenton here with Blake and James. We've had such fun counting down the top 10 things of the week that make us go wow. You know, we have an unusual number one, I think.
But it's James did last week.
Yeah. Number one. It was announced on KTLA News that a serial butt sniffer has been arrested again in Burbank. It's a man who's been arrested multiple times for sniffing women's rear ends while in public. Khalees Caron Crowder, 38, was arrested Tuesday by officers from the Burbank Police Department at a Walmart in Victory Place, where he was.
That's my Walmart.
Is it?
Yes.
When officers arrived on the scene, they were informed that the suspect had already left the department store, but he had been moved around various departments, following female customers and crouching behind them and engaging lewd behavior by inappropriately sniffing their buttocks.
Now,
He'd been arrested a couple years earlier, and he is now a serial butt sniffer. Which not all heroes wear capes. He's my new.
Well, not if, but when you Google this, you're gonna see his picture and look at his ears because he has Shrek ears.
He has
what
ears?
ears?
Shrek ogre ears.
Shrek ears.
Yeah, they look exactly like Shrek's ears. Just look.
That's interesting because Sister Hong in China is 38 as well. It was like a sort of.
Oh, is that the year that your mind fractures and you lose it and you give in to all your base desires?
That's it. Because if you've got what is it, 300 million, you go crazy. But if you don't have enough, you go around sniffing people's butts, and taking watermelons as gifts from strangers. Well, there's nothing really more one can add. I think
we've covered the waterfront here.
Wait, hang on. Yep, we got it all.
Thank you so much for listening. Same time, same place next week. Until then, go out and do something that makes you go, wow.
Wow.